With asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, died with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with me.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to my live stream. I'm so glad you're here. I can see some people checking in who I know and others who I don't. And I'm so glad to meet you if I haven't seen you before. And for those of you who have been with me before, I'm really happy to be back with you because, as you know, I've had a lot of health challenges this year. And so I've kind of been missing in action some. So I'm just thrilled to be here and I'm really happy you're with me. Oh, there's my first question. What is the best fabric remnant you use on the fabric card? Example, cotton, linen, or muslin? Well, I haven't tried a lot of different fabrics, but mostly what I have used is quilt quality cotton, 100% cotton, because I started card making. I came out of sewing and quilting, and I had a whole lot of fabric in my stash. And one day I just thought, I wonder if I can make this happen with cards because I like to try innovative things and different materials. And so I just actually, for this card, I took one of my extra layer cakes that I had from quilting that had a lot of coordinated fabrics together and made it out of that. So I have tried felt. It doesn't work as well because of the thickness. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I haven't tried muslin or linen. Hey, Debbie. Hello. How is Alaska? Well, Alaska is doing great today. It's kind of gray out, but I was telling somebody earlier on my Facebook group, which I just super would love to invite you to be part of. There's a link on my presenter page and there's a link on my blog website. But anyway, I just ended up posting, despite the fact it has nothing to do with cards. People on there really like to see my Alaska pictures. So Monday night, we had this wonderful Northern Lights display. And then for some reason this week, we've had a whole lot of moose running up and down our driveway. So I posted a few pictures of that in my group. So not card making, but still kind of fun. Let's see, from Barb, can I use 2D original style embossing folders? I think so. I haven't tried it, to tell you the honest truth, but I will show you something here. Let me change my screen. And I heard that my microphone kind of goes in and out when I change screens. So if that happens, just wait a minute and it should clear up. But let me get us over to my other screen. Okay, so I wanted to show you some of the fabric tags that I made for Christmas last year. And I did these for a mixed media blog for Altenew. But what I want to show you on this one, and hopefully you can see it here when you're asking about 2D. Now, these are dies. And what I did was different than in this tutorial. What I did was I just use the same double-sided adhesive sheets, and and then I ran them through these dies. But I don't know if you can see these little on the poinsettias. Can you see the little lines from the dies? That's how delicate it is, and those are not from a 3D folder. So my answer to you is I think that you should be able to use regular 2D embossing folders and have it work fine, because it's just surprising how well it works. Let me show you the other tags here before we move on, just quickly. So this is one of them. This is all fabric on the top of the card, and then I cut the poinsettia. I actually die cut it with just the fabric and the double-sided adhesive sheet. Now, disclaimer with that is that you have to see what works. If you're going to try to die cut it, you have to see what works with your die cutting machine, because the sandwich is different for everybody. And I can't really tell you. I know with mine, I used a metal shim. So, you know, you're going to have to experiment, because the die cutting it doesn't necessarily work. But imprinting it with the embossing folders definitely does. So this is another one that I did. See if you can see. There's fabric on the back. This is red fabric, holiday fabric with gold snowflakes on it. And then I just used metallic cardstock and cut gold snowflakes out to go with it. So that's what I wanted to show you the tags for. I wanted you to see that, yes, the card I made for this presentation is basically all fabric, but you can mix and match things so that they complement each other. And I think these metallics really go well with each other, some metallic fabrics. Now on this one, let's see if I can get it in focus. This back is actually washi tape, but I just used striped fabric and did the double-sided adhesive tape or adhesive sheets between that fabric and the triangle for the tree. And then you get this really cool looking striped tree, which is like super, super easy with the washi tape. And then I just had some gold sequins on there for the ornaments, and done. Easy. And then this was my experiment with felt. So you can see these ornaments. I wanted something a little bit more rustic. So I did like this background is actually flannel that I put onto some paper, some cardstock, and then did ribbons and things that I used for the ornaments. So, and some felt. So I wanted to show you these because I wanted to say to you, don't be afraid to try. I mean, what's the harm in trying? You know, we get our minds going in one direction using only certain supplies and everything like that. Look around your house and see what you have, and don't be afraid to try it, because the only way, I did not learn this from anybody. I just learned it from wondering myself if it would work, and it did. So there you have it. I hope that inspires somebody to go and try some of this. What other unconventional materials do you like to use in card making? Well, you know, now that I said that, I'm not sure I have all these wonderful examples for you, but I just like trying using things ways that they aren't necessarily meant to be used. And like I said at the beginning, I have been kind of laid up for several months this year for some health issues. And so my YouTube channel doesn't have a whole lot of new things on there, although I would say, looking at the 3D folders that we're looking at with this, I have a video tutorial on using 3D folders with washi tape that is, it works fabulous. You will never believe how wonderful it works just using 3D folders and washi tape, and how you know, how great it looks and how easy it is. So go to my YouTube channel and check that out, because it's a great tape. And the other thing I have on there that's a bit unconventional is I have a tutorial on using tissue paper, and it's also really easy and really effective looking when you use it with embossing folders. So I've just experimented like that. And somebody did ask me recently about using napkins in the same method that I used the tissue paper of peeling off the first layer. And I haven't tried that. That's on my list to try, but I think it would work just great if somebody wants to try it. So where do you get your fabric? What quilter squares or whatever they are called work? Well, you can get your fabric at any fabric store. You just ask for quilting fabric. What I like is I kind of set out all my scraps from when I was making the card here, and you can see there's all these coordinated fabrics. Now this comes from what quilters call a layer cake, which is a bunch of fabrics that are 10-inch squares. There are smaller squares that are only 5-inch, but you can't make an entire card out of one piece. But I had several of these layer cakes left over, and you can see that they have all kinds of different coordinating fabrics already with them, so it makes it easy for them to use them because they all already go together. But you can go to your fabric store and get remnants. There's infinite number of ways to do this. I used for those Christmas tags some fabric that I had from sewing and embroidering some Christmas things a few years ago, and I had assorted Christmas fabric, and tags don't take much, so you can use whatever. And like I said, the things that I have experimented with most are quilting quality cotton. But if you go to any fabric store, Joann's, whatever, you'll be able to find it there. And here's my card. I guess I should put it out there for everybody to see. Okay. How did you get the nice sharp cuts on the fabric? Well, that's what I was wanting to explain in the video, or tried to explain on the video, is that, and here's an extra one of my main flowers. My goal in this was to show you the same basic way, but different ways you could apply the same principle in different settings. So like for this is fussy cut, and it doesn't fray at all. And the secret for that is just what I did for the whole card. Taking the double-sided adhesive sheet, which I used Altenew, but you can use whatever brand you have. The links to the supplies that I used are all on my presenter page. So you have to scroll down to get those links, and also to get the link to my Facebook group, which I really, really would love to have you be a part of. It's I don't know, some of you might be even on here, people that are in my group, but I formed it not to be just another card maker group where everybody just posts cards, which we do, but I wanted it to be a place where everybody could come, be part of a community, to encourage one another, to be friends with each other, and to help each other be motivated to bless others using our card making skills. And so it's a very positive and encouraging place, no matter if you're a total beginner or if you are on a design team somewhere. It doesn't make any difference. It's all about the heart. And so I would love to have you be a part of it. But anyway, as I was saying about this, is that once you adhere the fabric, now I used 110-pound cardstock. Once you adhere it with the double-sided adhesive, and you really remember on the video, I used my bone folder to really push it down into that adhesive to make sure there's no bubbles. I don't know if anybody's old enough to have hung a lot of wallpaper, but in my era, it used to be popular, And so when you hang wallpaper, you've got these little air bubbles behind it, and you've got to push it out. Well, the same with this. You want to make sure that you've pushed it out both sides really, really good. And then once you have done that, this stuff adheres. I mean, there are no frayed edges on this, and look at all the fine detail it has in it. I don't know if you can see how fine that detail is along the edge. And I did this a long time ago and have handled it, and it hasn't frayed at all. So it works great. It works great. Let's see. What is the name of your Facebook site? It is called Sande's Poema. And the reason it's called that actually is, I'll tell you why, because poema is a Greek word and it is in the Bible. And I'm a Christian, so, hence I used it. You don't have to be a Christian to be in my site. It's about card making. But the reason that it's called that is because in this verse in the Bible, where that word comes from, it's where we get our English word poem. And it says that we're all handcrafted by God. We're all God's masterpieces, handcrafted by him. And it uses that word poema to be like a handcrafted creative item. So anyway, that just really touched my heart. And cards are handmade and they're handcrafted and there's no two alike. Even if you make duplicates, none of them are the same because you put your unique spin on each one of them. And that's what I wanted my card making group to be about, was individual caring and kindness for other people and creating handcrafted items to make other people be blessed. So it's called Sande's, SANDE', like Sandy's Poema, just the word poem with an A on the end. And you should be able to find it that way. But the link's in my my presenter page for the summit. Thanks for asking. Can this technique be used for any type of fabric? Well, like I was saying earlier, and you probably didn't tune in when I was saying this, I have not experimented with a lot of fabric. Almost everything that I've made successfully is from quilter quality cotton. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. Another thing that I did try, but I didn't bring in a sample of, is the I forget the name of the brand because I didn't prepare for this, but the fleet, one of the companies that makes foil, that makes rolls of foil for use with your laminator, not for use with the new foiling machines, but for use with your laminator. One of those companies also makes sheets with like a velour on them. And I did a card from 3D and embossing on that, and it turned out fabulous. So you could just try different kinds of things because you never know. But the 100% quilting cotton is what has always worked for me. What brand of double-sided adhesive sheets do you use? Well, I use Altenew because my history as an Altenew educator is doing a lot of things with Altenew. So I use Altenew and they work fabulous. There's a link to them in the supplies down below my presentation. Where in Alaska do you live? I love the hope card that you made. Thank you. Thank you very much. I live in Wasilla, which is about an hour outside of Anchorage. Head to the presenter's presentation page to grab the freebie. My freebie, which I don't have a sample of right here, I should have brought one, is actually a multi-page PDF on color theory. And if you would like to have a little bit more detailed understanding of the color wheel and a whole lot of examples of color combinations and color palettes that aren't the norm, then you want to be sure to sign up for that. And you can get the link and for the download again on my presenter page. Just scroll down till you see it, and I hope that you'll pick it up because it's really informative and it will help you come up with some new creative concepts and not all the same old, how we always kind of get in our own little comfortable patterns. What die cutting machine do you use? I have a Gemini Junior. So like I said, when you try die cutting, if you actually try die cutting the fabric, like I would put the adhesive backing on it. And then like what I did when I showed earlier, but some of you probably weren't here, these poinsettias for a Christmas tag. Now you can probably see how they're imprinted there. I put them on the sheets of the adhesive and just cut them with the fabric and the backing. However, the disclaimer is you have to look up for your own sandwich on your machine, because who knows what's going to work for you isn't what's working for me. I know I used a metal shim with it, but you can do that. And for the 3D embossing, it works the same way. I did not have to do a separate, like something different to use my 3D embossing folders with this than I would for regular cardstock. It worked fine for me without making any adjustments to my sandwich for that, but try it and see. You might have to add a shim or take out something. It's kind of an individual situation. Have you ever embossed on fabric? Do you mean like gold embossed, like doing that type, like heat embossing on fabric? Is that what you mean? I haven't. Well, I don't have an example here, but I think I did do that one time and it worked fine. So, but I don't have an example to show you. Sorry, I didn't anticipate that. Do you think if you use a regular 2D embossing folder, you should run it forwards and then in reverse? Again, you know what? I wish I could have a definitive answer for that, because it would make life so much easier. But the thing is that, it depends on your machine. It depends on the weight of your fabric. There's so many factors. So I say, don't give up. If it doesn't work the first time, you can see over here, if I brought out all the different variations of this card that I made and different panels to see which fabrics worked and which techniques worked better, it's like just experiment and see what you think works best for your situation. Don't give up and don't try to cookie cutter everything in terms of this is what Sandy said or what so-and-so said, so I have to do it exactly the same. Do your own thing and see what works with your equipment, your machine, your materials, Don't be afraid to experiment. If we're not sewers/quilters, oh, hi, Arden, with fabric stashes, where should we look for small pieces that would work for card making? I say go to the remnants section of Joann's or, Hobby Lobby or any place like that. And oftentimes, like Hobby Lobby will have some, I don't even have one here in Alaska, but when I lived in California, I had a Hobby Lobby, and they would put packets of quilting fabrics together for really cheap, $1 or $2 for several different samples. So just, any place like that, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, any place that carries some kind of fabric should have that. But if you're like me and you've been a quilter, you have a stash, and we know you do. What were the tags used for? Well, actually, I made these tags for Christmas presents to be used, like with a fancy Christmas present. But I made them I didn't use them. I made others to use because I made these for the mixed media blog on Altenew, and I wanted to save them because I had put them on the blog and I wanted to have them for future examples like this. But I made the same kinds of tags just like this with ribbon and everything, for presents for Christmas that year for my personal use. And you know what? I think that the blog explanation of what I did to make these is now archived. But what I will do is if you get my handout and you put your name in there where you need to go to download it, I will find the link for that and send it, and also put it in my Facebook group. And if anybody's interested in how exactly I made these Christmas tags, then you'll have the instructions for that. You can sew on cardstock too. Well, I have never sewn with that, But I don't know if Linda is in here. My friend Linda Crone, who is a like expert, like as if she's written, you know, as in she's written a book and it's on Amazon for fabric landscape art. So she has worked extensively with fabrics, and she was just telling me this last week that she actually, for one of her projects she just got hired to make for, I mean, professionally, she used fusible webbing and fused two, she starched her fabric, the cotton, and she fused two pieces together with, you know, ironing fusible webbing like you use with fabric. And then she die cut it, and there were these lilies. They turned out absolutely like water lilies, gorgeous. So if you have any kind of like fusible webbing at home and you want to try that, and she's going to sew that literally onto her landscape quilt art. So yes, you can use it, but I don't think she put any cardstock in the middle. So that's my disclaimer. I'm not sure. I haven't ever really done it with sewing. Hi, Betty. When using the embossing folder, are you spraying the cardstock with water before running it through? No, I did not do that. Normally with cardstock, I would dampen it, and usually I don't spray it. I use a baby wipe and wipe it down. But no, I didn't, and they came out perfect. So I think the fabric kind of somehow softened that with, so, and you're using the cardstock as the backing. So if the cardstock looks a little cracky, it doesn't matter because it's the fabric that's going to be on the front side. So you don't have to worry about doing that. What was the, let's see, Peggy, what was the adhesive you used to put the fabric on the cardstock? It was these double-sided adhesive sheets. And hopefully you can watch my video because it's all on there in great detail. But what I did was, like, I have a piece of fabric here, and I'll just show you what I did. Here's a piece of cardstock. I mean, the adhesive with on both sides. And all you have to do, now this is the hardest part, peeling the liner off of here. So I don't want to take up too much time with this, but if I can get this off of here quickly, of course, you know, being on camera, it never works the way you want it to be. Okay, you take off the liner piece. Now here's my fabric. And I'm going to put it right down, the sticky side down. Okay. Then I'm going to take some scissors and I'm going to just cut across the angle here. Of course, I'm not taking my time or anything because I don't want to use up all our time doing this, but just real quickly, cutting diagonal. This is all on my video in great detail. Make sure you use your bone folder really well on both sides. And then you stick this piece to your cardstock, and you can do your cardstock first. I think in the video I did, but I'm just winging it here. Let's see. Is there another question while I'm trying to do this? Could you use heat and bond? Have you tried it? You know what? I haven't tried it, but I bet it would work. This just is very easy, as I say, as I can't get this corner off of here. Anyway, another question. Oh, okay, Sandra, come on, you can do it. It's usually not this hard, but you know how everything is harder when you get on camera, right? Do you have an Amazon store? Where did you get the scissors you used to cut the fabric? Okay, well, these scissors, I actually have them all here, are 3 sizes, and they're all Tim Holtz titanium scissors, and they are fabulous. They are non-stick. They don't stick to things. I use them for all my card making. These are my fussy cutting ones, and then there's a middle size, and then there's these long shears. I highly recommend them for anything to do with cards. And no, I do not have an Amazon store. However, I don't remember if they're linked in the supplies down below for this. They may be. And if they are, then that goes through an affiliate that I have with Amazon. So check on the supplies list for the class because they might be on here. Okay, I'm going to just put this cardstock right on here since I finally got that off. And then you'll see on the video, what I do is I put adhesive tape, like double-sided adhesive tape, and just fold these down onto the adhesive tape so the corners end up looking finished like that. That's as easy as it is. It's super, super easy. And I go through it in detail on the video, but maybe somebody who's watched the video can tell me if you thought that there was a sufficient explanation in the comments, you could say, so that I would know, because I hope so. I hope it was pretty straightforward and easy to follow, because I really, really want you guys to try this. They come out so pretty, and you can do anything you want with them. If you watched the video, I'm wondering, oh, I'm seeing we're already out of time. Oh my gosh. Well, that went fast, didn't it? So she's going to close it up now. And I thank you so much for coming. And thank you for watching my video and being a part of it. And check out my Facebook group. I'll see you next time, I hope. Bye.